Good. Okay. Good evening. I call to order the Newman City Council regular meeting, April 11, 2023. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. Right? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. I come to you with a wonderful thought in mind in terms of how we are so blessed to be Americans. And I say that simply because we're not a perfect people, but we thrive to be the best. Come over in prayer. Father God, we just thank you so much for this day that you have blessed us with. And we thank you for allowing us to serve this city we call the city of Newman. And let us be with open minds that we do the business for this city, and let it be a blessing to us all. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Roll call.
Councilmember McDonald,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ball,
Present.
Tomlinson,
Here.
Pimentel,
Here.
Mayor Graham.
Here. Item number 5, declarations of conflict of interest. Are there any tonight?
No.
And none. Item number 6, ceremonial matters. Tonight, we'd like to welcome back Nick Candia.
Yeah.
He's been with the city for a long time. He started out with the Planning Commission in 2007 and did that for approximately 2 years before joining the city council in 2009. He retired last year in March 31st of 2022 after 13 years on the council and serving as pro tem. So we'd like to honor you with a little display of our
Appreciation.
thanks and appreciation
Yes.
for all your years of service. So that's what we'll do.
Amen.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate it.
Say something, please.
Would you like to say something? Thank you so much, Nick. You're welcome. Thank you. You know, for everybody, the councilman and everybody puts in a lot of time, and you know, it's not the highest paying job in the world because it doesn't really pay a whole lot. But it's not about the money. It's about what we can do for the community to help build it up and make it better for the future. So thank you for all your time and dedication. Item number 7, items from the public, non-agenda items. Anybody wishing to speak tonight, feel free to get up. Tonight, first up, we'll have Gavin. He's official for Congressman Duarte. Good evening.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, council members, city staff, and community, thank you. Gavin Klein, field representative for Congressman John Duarte's office. Quick update. This past week, Congressman Duarte had the opportunity to meet with Health Plan of San Joaquin. In midst of an ongoing affordability crisis, Congressman Duarte remains committed to ensuring that each and every American has access to equal or quality health care that does not break the bank. This past week, Congressman Duarte toured Modesto Junior College and discussed the importance of junior colleges and how Congress can be supportive to their mission and local impact MJC has here in the Valley. Congressman Duarte was able to join Assemblymember Alanis, Senator Alvarado Gil, and Mayor Buback for Turlock's Government Night last week to discuss issues and meet with constituents. Congressman Duarte was also able to attend the Stanislaus County Law Executive meeting at the Ceres Community Center. And today, Congressman Duarte was able to join his colleagues in Tulare for a field hearing to tour the damages from the recent floods and discuss water storage challenges and the impact on local communities that has. Thank you guys for your time.
Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate you being here.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sure you guys aren't used to new faces, but I'm here today to say hello and introduce myself. My name is Justin Farkas, and I am a district representative here today on behalf of Assemblymember Juan Alanis. Covers Assembly District 22, including the entire west side in the city of Newman. So today is really significant It's our first council meeting being here, and we love the city of Newman. We've been trying really hard to make our office as accessible to this city as possible. We've been dealing with some staffing issues, which is why you haven't quite seen us make it here yet to a council meeting, but nonetheless, we are here and we plan on attending here on. So today is Assemblymember Alanis's 101st day in the legislative session, and we've really worked hard to achieve a lot for our district, both being involved in the district and making sure that we're promoting common sense policy up in Sacramento. That's really showing when you work in a supermajority like we do. We're one of 18 Republicans in the California state legislature, and it's hard to get things done with that R next to your name, but we've managed to get 7 bills passed unanimously out of their committees. One of those being the Nevaeh Youth Sports Safety Act, and that bill was named after a young lady in Patterson who passed away during her cheerleading practice because an AED was unavailable to her. So we named this bill in her memory, and this bill essentially makes if you're a youth sports program who has a contract with one of our public schools here that have access to AEDs, it allows that group who's contracted with the facility to use those AEDs that are on the premises, hopefully saving lives and hopefully keeping our youth safe as they partake in their extracurricular activities. That bill was passed through its committee rightfully unanimously, and it actually just passed 2 weeks ago on the assembly floor unanimously. So we've been able to get a lot done so far. It's now up in the state Senate where it'll be heard again and hopefully make it to the governor's desk by the end of the year. One more thing is that we are holding mobile district office hours here in Newman on, what's today, the second Tuesday of every month. We started that in January. This was our 3rd time doing it today. It's going to be from 5:30 to 6:30 at Pizza Plus. So we will be there if you have any questions regarding legislation, need any help with any state agency like Department of Real Estate, DMV, EDD, we're able to assist you in those ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it. Would anybody else like to speak tonight? Okay. All right. Seeing none, we'll move on. Thank you, guys. Item 8, consent calendar. A, waive all readings of ordinance and resolution except by title. B, approval of warrants. C, approval of minutes of the March 20th, 2023 meeting.
I move that we accept the consent calendar for this period.
I second.
We have a first and second. Go and vote. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 9, there are no public hearings tonight. Item number 10, regular business. A, approve final Newman Downtown Plaza Phase 2 concept. Catherine, good evening.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Really excited to bring this item to you tonight. It's been a long time coming, and it's about the downtown plaza. We use the plaza. I've seen all of you at many events there. We use it for the farmers market and Christmas tree lighting, back to school events, the wine and cheese during the fall festival. It's a hub for downtown for parking, but also just to go down. You see a lot of dog walking and people hanging out in there. And recreation and staff and all of us see a bigger future for that area and a lot more uses. And so, as you know, last April, you approved the city manager entering into an agreement with RRM Design Group, who's here tonight. And they went through an extensive community outreach to be able to come up with a final concept that we're pleased to present to you tonight. First, they've got a presentation to share with you about what the community thinks of our vision. And I'd like to introduce Abraham Shepard and Debbie Rudd from RRM Design Group. Take it away.
Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor Graham and council members. We are very happy to be here. I'm Debbie. This is Abe. We are planners and urban designers at RRM Design Group and have a long history of working here in Newman on projects here in Newman. You're well aware of where the project is, but just to show you kind of the boundaries that we were looking at, included the adjacent McBride building and how we connect up with the restroom. And a little background, the plaza was completed in 2010, but we didn't make a lot of improvements to the phase 2. So phase 1 was completed, this is considered phase 2. And the community showed some interest in adding some new uses, especially something that would feature and honor the U.S. veterans, both veterans and those currently serving the armed forces. And so we looked at this as an opportunity to re-envision the space and create another asset for the city of Newman. You're well aware of the site, but one of the challenges that we were introduced to right at the beginning was we really need to create a stronger connection to the existing plaza and to the adjacent parking lot. In the bottom left-hand corner on 3, you can see right now there's a hedge of greenery that doesn't allow you to go from the parking lot over to the green space. And it's not very easy to see or welcoming when you're in the existing plaza walking back to the green space.
So several goals guided us through the project and drove the project. These represent general goals as we launched the project, but also reflect feedback received from the community during the planning effort. So some of the key goals from the start was honoring past and current members of the U.S. Armed Forces. And through the community, we heard providing shade and seating was very important, connecting the spaces and uses of the surrounding areas, which we'll discuss in a little bit. But that was one of the primary goals from the start, including elements for children and reimagining the existing McBride building. Here's some just key components of our community engagement effort. So a project website, our web page was created on the city website, and it provided project background, the objectives, information on how to participate in the planning effort for community members, project updates, and project-related documents and files, things like the workshop recording and the workshop presentation, those were put on the webpage. In terms of online research or online outreach, there was some outreach throughout via social media outlets, Facebook and Instagram, articles in the newspaper, and newsletters such as Peach Jar were very successful in getting feedback, getting folks to participate in the plan effort. So we began the community engagement effort at the farmer's market on an extraordinarily hot day in June, extraordinarily hot. And we enticed folks in with a raffle for a Target, I think it was Target, a Target gift card. So that brought in over 50 folks, even on a hot day, to come in on the shade under our tent. And we asked them to place dots to kind of vote on their priorities or favorites in terms of desired elements, desired amenities for the space as a whole, elements for the Veterans Memorial, and the type of architecture that they would like for the McBride building. And these are some of the things that folks let us know are priorities. We held a workshop and online questionnaire. Workshop was October, and online questionnaire was on the website from late October through early December. And these are some of the key feedback that we received from both. And combined, we had over 80 participants, and it was really a broad range of folks in your community based on what the demographic information that we received on the survey. So these are some of the highlights. The workshop and online questionnaire introduced the concepts, and we received feedback about the concepts and about priorities that the community had and what they liked and didn't like about the concepts. And now we'll go over the final concept.
So to orient you, we have Highway 33, to the right, and Fresno Street on the bottom. And you can see that we've created some strong connections. We created this oval pedestrian path, and then the Veterans Circle tribute is down at the corner, which is really nice as you drive into, when you're driving down Highway 33, It'll be framed by trees. It'll be open in view. It really gives it kind of a welcoming to all of Newman. The orange arrows show you these strong connections to the parking lot, to the main plaza, to downtown, and to the corner, and views in on all of those as well. And then we have the Veterans Circle. So we're showing it as a bricked paved area and a series of 6 stone or granite square columns representing the 6 branches of the armed services. And then in front of each one of those would be the branch seal and a plaque on top that would talk about that, and a flag for each one of the branches. And then central in the plaza is a concrete seating area with the American flag centrally located. And you can see we have chairs on either side. And then one of the popular items from the community was to incorporate an opportunity to do some dedication bricks that could represent the veterans of Newman. And so those can be incorporated as well.
My turn. So one of the things that we heard much about was the desire for trees and for shade. So the yellow circles, there we go. Yellow circles represent shade trees, so providing shade in the summer while still ensuring an open feel for safety and security as well. The pink circles represent flowering trees at the entrance to flank the Veterans Circle at the corner of Fresno and Highway 33, and also framing the entry point from the plaza and helping to connect the space. And then, of course, a main need for the space was to find a location for the annual Christmas tree. So this concept provides a space and a flat concrete pad at the center for the annual Christmas tree. In terms of lawn and planting areas, we heard from the community a desire, because currently having an open line, it's utilized. And so community members like the idea of keeping much of that or some of that in the new uses while allowing for other landscaping like low shrubs and ground cover that also provide visual interest and help break up the space a little bit and make it a special place. But the lawn area is a main component in the center. We added additional seating as a result of community input, and adult benches there, child benches, so we tried to integrate some children's elements, light posts, which will be similar to the light posts in the plaza, so bringing everything together visually, and more elements for children, and then seating in front of a new building that would have tables and chairs and connect the uses of the plaza space and the building.
So part of the engagement was to ask the community, what kind of, if we redid the McBride building, what kind of architectural character do you think would be appropriate for this space? And people voted on we gave them pictures of different styles. The most popular one was kind of this early American, turn of the century commercial brick building. So we're showing just a vision of what it could be. It's opening up on, you can see the side area with the yellow umbrellas. We see it would be nice to have that building really frame the plaza and open up, give some opportunities for people to sit and have their lunch under these umbrellas. And we're showing 2 stories because if you're going to redo a building, you could have offices, you could have a community room, you could put different kind of uses on the second floor. Having a drawing like this and having your package that we've created is always a good tool to go out and get funding. So part of the thought process was, let's give you all the tools you can to go get funding so you can make improvements. And with that is the end of our presentation.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
Just a comment. Everything looks great. Really enjoy the dedication bricks. So thank you very much for your hard work.
And I just want to ask the lighting. How much lighting is going to be there? Is going to be enough lighting for people in the evenings to maybe come and sit?
Right now, you see the pink is showing all the different locations we were suggesting lighting. It looks like it's a little bit off. It's like these two, here, 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 and then there's another one over in this area. So we're trying to light it all, and then probably want to uplight the flags as well.
Right, yeah, I think that's key too, is the flag area. And that's where the bricks are going to be in terms of dedications.
Yes.
And I think that's important if people are going to be able to read is lighting, for those bricks.
Point.
Yeah, and I think it's something that, gosh, we've been waiting for a very long time for something like this to happen. All the council members and city management know that I've been fighting for our veterans. We have some wonderful veterans here. Some are deceased, but I think the key to it is that Newman is ready for a project of this nature to recognize our veterans. And I really appreciate, thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Yeah, I'd like to say that, the building ties it in great, the way you guys put that in there. I was excited for this. This is one of the first things I wanted when I got to council, and it was a memorial for us and out front, a flag out front. So I'm excited by it. It looks outstanding. I'll open up to the public for any questions or comments. All right. Catherine, do you have anything else?
Darn, I was hoping that our representatives back there were going to come and so they could fund the whole.
You'd like that?
Email me some options. So thank you so much, Debbie and Abe. I really appreciate your hard work on this, and it really is reflective of what the community asked for out there, but also functional. We considered maintenance options. We considered how to access those restrooms from the grass area. We considered a lot of different things, and so I think it's a really good concept, and that's what this is now, is a concept. And next steps would be actually designing it, where we would look at actual lighting, what we would install, where it would be installed, and so we're working on that now, on how to take that to the next step, to where we would actually design it. And that would give us construction documents to where we would be able to say, okay, here, come build this when we have the funding. I would ask that you now, if you don't have any further questions, to consider approving this final Newman Downtown Plaza Phase 2 concept.
All right, I'll bring it back to council for action.
I'll move to approve the final Newman Downtown Plaza Phase 2 concept.
And I will second that.
Got first and second, go and vote. Motion carries 5-0. Thank
Yay,
you.
thank you so much. Thank you guys very much.
Item number 10B, report on 2023 Newman Fall Festival. Sergeant Williams, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. The plaza looks great, so just start off with that. Before you tonight is the staff report for the 2023 Fall Festival. I know we're just a little under half a year to go still, so I'm a little early. I can explain. So if you'll notice that everything really remains the same as it was last year, as far as the Evening Under the Stars and all of the events that will be taking place. So there's really no large changes as far as that's concerned. What you will notice is that there is an event that has been added, and it is the Tunnel to Towers 5K run, which will be held on Saturday, September 2nd from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. It will begin in front of the police department, the 1200 block of Main Street, and it will conclude in the downtown plaza. There is a reason for that, but I'll start with a little bit of backstory of the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, if anybody is not familiar with that. So on September 11th, 2001, firefighter Steven Siller had just gotten off of work. He was headed home, and he learned of the terrorist attacks. He returned back to his firehouse to gather his gear to go help. And as he was headed to go assist, the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel had been closed for safety precautions. He parked his truck, put on his gear, and ran from the tunnel to the towers, where he ended up dying that day. He was 34 years old. He left behind his wife and 5 children. The Tunnel to Tower Foundation was created. It provides mortgage-free homes to Gold Star families, the families of fallen first responders with young children, and they build specially designed homes for catastrophically injured veterans and first responders. Locally speaking, they've done this for probably hundreds, if not maybe thousands of families, but locally speaking, they have provided mortgage-free homes for El Dorado County Deputy Sheriff Brian Ishmael, Stockton Police Officer Jimmy Inn, Sacramento County Sheriff Deputy Adam Gibson, and of course Ron Elsing from Newman. That was one of the first calls that we probably got after Ron's passing, was from firefighter Stiller's brother, Frank. He actually flew to Newman from New York to notify Mika in person that their house was going to be covered. That was one less burden for her to have to worry about. So in September every year in New York, they do a run, Tunnel to Tower run. They've kind of branched off, and I guess you would call them spin-off runs maybe, if I were going to put a name to it. One of those, there are 3 such runs on the West Coast. Newman is one of them. You remember that we had this last year in June. They decided to bring it to Fall Festival. For being completely honest, there's not maybe a lot to do in Newman, so it was kind of a run and done last year, right? But if they incorporate it with Fall Festival this year, they're hoping that as the run is on the west side of town, it stays west of 33. It will run, if you check the map, the course passes Pioneer Park. The runners will see the event going on, and hopefully at the conclusion of the run, they head over to check out what's going on and bring some more business to Fall Festival. The reason it's concluding where it is, there's a lot of competitive runners. They want that official time for the 5K, right? They did have the timer out there last year. However, the path was just short of the official 5K, so the time was not official. It'll conclude in the plaza because the way the map is laid out, that happens to make it an official 5K. So the road closures that will occur because of this will be on Main Street between Kern and Fresno, I believe. It'll be the 1200 block and the 1300 block that will remain closed from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Saturday. Once the run is over, they'll reopen. Along the path, it'll be rolling or soft closures. Those roadways will be controlled by crossing guards, so they won't be official closures. And as the last runners pass through, the roads will reopen. So there'll be limited road closures and roadways that are affected by this. I think that's about it. That's really the only major change otherwise. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Any questions? I'd just like to say Tunnel to Towers is probably one of the best organizations out there. They have done so much for the first responders and military, helped them out tremendously. They have a monthly donation that's $11. It's not a whole lot, and all the proceeds. They have out of all the organizations out there, they have one of the lowest overheads. So the most of the money goes right back to the people that need it the most. So excited for them to be here again. Glad it worked out.
Definitely. It's a great
I'll go open up to
foundation.
the public for any comment. None? I'll bring it back to council for action.
I move to accept the report on the 2023 Newman Fall Festival.
I'll second that.
First and second, go and vote. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very much.
Sergeant. Item 10C, adopt the resolution 2023, next number, resolution approving the 6th cycle housing element update proposal from EMC Planning Group and authorizing the city manager to execute a contract for service.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try to keep my sarcasm to a minimum on this one. Talked a little bit about it last time. So about every seventh year, the state requires cities throughout the state to do a housing element. And it's basically a plan for how you're going to develop housing within your community. We have a general plan, and this is part of that general plan. As part of it, the state has a allocation that they place upon each county, and then the county together, the cities and the county work together to allocate that out to cities. So the state between January 1st of 2024 through December 31st of 2031, the state would like us to see us in Newman build 1,048 housing units. As you know, Newman, the city, doesn't build housing units. It's a market-driven aspect. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But with that being said, we do take measures that allow ourselves to continue to grow at a pace the council feels comfortable with. We annex land, we do master plans to build neighborhoods, not necessarily just subdivisions. And Northwest Newman is a prime example of that. So, but with that being said, we still have to prepare this document. If you do not prepare this document, you become ineligible for grant funding from the state. So that's where they get you. If you're not eligible for grant funding, then you put you behind the 8 ball, and especially when we're out as we see that project that just came before us. We'd love to get some grant funding for that particular project. So we contacted Mr. Martin Carver, who did our last 2 housing elements, and he's done a really good job of presenting something that is that's Valley-centric, not necessarily Bay Area-centric. Because the process has become more arduous at the state level, Mr. Carver is now teaming with EMC Planning Group, who is one of our consultants as well, and we actually have 3 projects currently with them. So they're teaming together this year to do housing elements for other cities. And they've already done a couple in the Bay Area, Los Gatos and Larkspur, and a couple other ones over there. So they're familiar with the process, they're familiar with the players up at the state. So we're very comfortable with the skill level and the ability of them to get a document that'll pass the state level, because just because you draft it doesn't mean the state's going to accept it. But we believe that under this team, we could get something done. And here comes the difficult part. So as part of this, they prepared a proposal for us, and that proposal knocked me off my chair. So I had to actually call the owner of EMC Planning Group and say, what is going on? Because our last one cost us around just under $40,000. Well, this one, they're projecting just under $300,000 for this proposal. So that's a significant jump. And when I said HCD and the state has made this a more arduous process, that is what's going on. They're making them do more requirements and place more things in these documents. So with that being said, we've already just completed a LEAP grant that was accepted by the state last week. So they're going to be sending an MOU over, and we're going to get $65,000 to go towards this project here. And then Catherine and I are working with Stancog to get some what's called REAP money. And we anticipate we're probably going to get about $155,000 from them. So that's going to reduce our cost to closer to about $75,000. And then on EMC's proposal, it's a time and material. So if it doesn't require as much time as they budgeted, they're not going to charge us the full amount on there. So if we have some inventories and some things that we can already contribute that we think will be helpful for them, because we've been doing some of this with our impact fee study. So we think we can help keep that cost down to a minimum as we can. So with that, it is our recommendation that the council, adopt a resolution that gives this proposal to EMC Planning Group for our 6-cycle housing element, and allow me to execute the documents.
With that being a state requirement, should they provide the funding for it?
Yeah, you would think, and Lou and I have had that discussion of filing that, but these are one of the many unfunded mandates that's placed upon us. So I guess you could argue that the $65,000 and the $155,000 is state money that they've taken from us and given us back. But that's
why if we get the other stuff from Stancog, if we don't get that, then
yeah, we know we're going to get the Stancog money. There's just a few things we have to do to get to that point, and so Catherine and I are working through those right now.
All right. Any questions from council?
I just hate unfunded mandates. An unfunded mandate in order to ensure that you get further funding.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. But I guess we need to play nice. Okay.
So what was the exact reason on the huge increase over the short amount of time?
There's just additional requirements that have to be placed into the documents that require them to do additional studies, time, effort, an inventory analysis, and
That's a huge inflation over a short period of time.
correct, 100%. When I talked to him, he said, "You're the 5th city manager that's called me." So, so
If there's no more questions, I'll open up to the public for comment or questions. All right, not seeing any, I'll bring it back to council for action.
I will move to adopt resolution number 2023, a resolution approving the 6th cycle housing element update proposal from the EMC Planning Group and authorizing the city manager to execute a contract for services.
And I'll second that.
First and second, go and vote.
Pricey.
Motion carries 5-0.
That's the second one.
Item number 10D, adopt resolution 2023, next number, a resolution of concurrence and support of the Stanislaus County CDBG fiscal year 2023-2024 annual action plan.
thank you, Mayor. Again, these are one of those federal aid projects where we get money for them, but you have to do a plan to show how you're going to use the funds. On this particular one, we're part of a consortium here in Stanislaus County that includes the county, Riverbank, Houston, Waterford, and there's about 6 of us cities that join the county on that. And what we do is they give us an allocation every year of funds that we can use towards projects. These projects really have 3 goals, provide decent housing, provide a suitable living environment, and to expand economic opportunities. We've in the past have used these to put in curb, gutter, sidewalks, and really improve our central residential district. There was a lot of places over probably the past 2 decades that I've been here that we've added a lot of sidewalks. If there was storm drainage missing, we've been able to put in storm drainage. Some of the sidewalks were lifted due to trees, and we've been able to fix all those. And these are projects where you don't have a funding source for. Like, we don't have general fund that we could have spent that money on. So it's been a very good process for us to have joined this consortium. I can tell you we've probably done over $3 million worth of projects and infrastructure projects and projects that don't have other funding sources. So it really fills a need for us. In this particular time, and so we have an annual action plan for us. This year, there's an area called the Stephenson Sunshine Park area, and we're going to look at doing some water line, sidewalk improvements, and some street improvements out there. I'll show you where that area is on our next item because these are all playing together. But we're looking in the Sydney and Leslie Park area over there, and so we're going to replace some antiquated fire hydrants and other things. So we've been collecting our money for a number of years so that we can move forward with this particular project. In order to do that, though, we have to have this annual action plan. We have to open it up to the public, ask them if they have any comments on it. If not, then we ask that you adopt this resolution, a resolution of concurrence and support for the annual action plan.
Any questions? Seeing none, I'll open up to the public for any comments. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for action.
I move to adopt resolution number 2023, a resolution of concurrence and support of the Stanislaus County CDBG fiscal year 23-24 annual action plan.
First, we have a second.
I'll second.
First and second, go and vote electronically. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, guys. Item number 10E, adopt resolution 2023, next number, approving the community development block grant subrecipient agreement between the County of Stanislaus and the City of Newman, and authorizing the city manager to execute the CDBG subrecipient agreement for fiscal year 2023 and 2024.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is part 2 of this. So now that you've approved the plan, now we're going to ask you to approve a subrecipient agreement, meaning we're a subrecipient of the program, and we're going to be allowed to get the money and put it towards projects. This year, we're looking at getting $164,800, just a little bit over that. That's going to go towards our project. Mike, will you pull the next one up? So again, as I indicated to you before, we're going to look, this is, you can see Inyo to the top there. Then you see Pine Street, Pine Court, Leslie Avenue, and then Sydney Avenue. So this is it's an older section of town, right? Infrastructure's, is a little bit antiquated out there. I think you all know where that is. So we're gonna go out there, replace some water lines, replace some fire hydrants, look at some curb gutter sidewalks. And then because we're already doing some other projects out there, we're gonna do some road improvements out there as well. So we'll do a significant investment into this project here. Catherine, can you remind me what the project engineer's cost estimate is at this time?
1.16 million.
So we're going to put about $1 million into this area right now. It's a lot of this has come through the CDBG program out there, so not all of it, a significant amount, probably $750,000. So we're looking about putting about $750,000 of the CDBG program into this area over here to help this area that again, over time, infrastructure just starts to fail, right? And this is one of our, as you know, one of our longstanding older areas of town. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there. And I'm sure our fire chief can appreciate the fact that we're going to get new water lines and fire hydrants out there to help protect those residents a little bit better. So we're asking you today to approve a sub-recipient agreement that allows us to collect this $165,000 roughly dollars, so we can go out there and work in the Stephenson Park, Sunshine Park area here to do this infrastructure project. And I can answer any questions you may have.
I have a question. What's the time frame for this to be completed in this area?
Soon. I'm going to turn that to Catherine, managing that part of the project.
Thank you, boss man. We currently have 5 years of CDBG funding. The last project that we did was Q Street, the sidewalk at the 1400 block, and then we did the Amy Park playground and ADA improvements. That was the last CDBG project we did. So we've been saving the money. So now it is currently in design. We had to wait for HUD to approve this area. They had to do income surveys, so we just got that approval. We did a cost estimate. We're currently in the environmental review process, which we're finalizing that now, and we will be designing it. I expect this project to run the same time as the Measure L project because we are doing some improvements in this area. So we'll combine all these projects together, have one big project with different pieces of funding. And I expect that to probably go out to bid, I'm hoping, early next year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're hoping that maybe around this time next year, you've already awarded the bid. And we're breaking ground in there, obviously weather dependent.
Just curious why the 7 lots along Prince Road, which appear to have the same needs, aren't included in this plan.
Oh, that street right there.
Corner of Prince and Inyo, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, Prince, yeah.
Yeah.
I can answer that. Prince was actually part of a previous SB1 project, and so Prince is actually in better shape, and that block was actually completed during that project.
Thank you.
There are some missing curb and gutters, but we expect if that empty lot there develops, then they would be required to install curb gutter and sidewalk.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm curious if, in terms of where the funds are going to be coming for this particular project.
The project for this particular project? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's what we're talking about here. CDBG will take care of probably about 75% of the cost, 80% of the cost, and then we're going to use water funds, and then we're going to use some street funds, I believe, to do some of the street improvements.
Okay.
So we'll be pulling from multiple funding sources here to make this 1.1, 1.2 million project complete.
Any other questions? Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for action.
I move to adopt resolution number 2023 approving the Community Development Block Grant Subrecipient Agreement between the County of Stanislaus and the City of Newman, and authorize the city manager to execute the CDBG Subrecipient Agreement for fiscal year 23-24.
I'll second that.
First and second, going to vote electronically. Motion carries 5-0. Item number F, adopt resolution 2023, next number, approving the Home Investment Partnership Program subrecipient agreement between the County of Stanislaus and the City of Newman, and authorizing the city authorize the city manager to execute the home subrecipient agreement for fiscal year 2023 and 2024.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a very similar one, but instead of it being CDBG, we use the acronym HOME. And so HOME is more low-income housing, producing low-income housing, or getting people into housing, and they can be income qualified. In this particular year, through this subrecipient agreement, the city of Newman would receive $135,800, which, if you think about it, it's very difficult to do a big residential project with that amount. So what we do is we fund a first-time homebuyers program with this money. So if you go ahead and approve this tonight, what we'll do is we'll take that $135,000, put it into our first-time homebuyers program, and then eligible residents can apply for that program and receive funding up to, I think it's up to about $40,000 to get some home funds to help them buy a house in Newman. So, but it's all income eligible and cost eligible stuff. So that program is run through the county and through the city of Turlock.
Any questions? Open up to the public for any comments? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for action.
I would like to approve, oh, wait a minute, here we go. Item 10F. I would like to accept or adopt resolution number 2023 approving the Home Investment Partnership Program subrecipient agreement between the County of Stanislaus and the City of Newman, and to authorize the city manager to execute the home subrecipient whatever agreement for fiscal year 2023 through 2024.
First,
Second.
we got first and a second, go and vote electronically. And I just messed that up.
I'm working tonight.
Go and vote. Motion carries 5-0. Sorry, I closed that out a little bit early. I hit the wrong button. Item number 11, item from District 5 Stanislaus County Supervisor. He cannot attend tonight. Item number 12, items from the city manager and staff. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. One, I'd like to just thank Sergeant Williams for coming out today and doing the Fall Festival presentation. She's getting her feet wet a little bit more, and you've seen a little bit more of her face as she does this. And then as part of that, just want to go out and just, again, thank Corporal Lopez and Sergeant Gomez. They're the ones that really are the impetus behind the Tunnels to Towers runs and bringing that to Newman, and all the hard work that they're putting forward. That's one of the reasons why the Fall Festival's on it today. They want to go out and start advertising and getting people to show up. And so since we've missed the Bailey's run the last couple of years, I think adding this project to the Fall Festival will be a big help for the Fall Festival. That Bailey's run, during its peak days, I think, Scott reminded me, we were 800 to 1,000 strong in terms of runners back in the day. So I think there's the potential for this Tunnels to Towers run to get similar results, and maybe get, 700, 800 people out there running on a Saturday morning. And then that feeds into the 4-H breakfast. And they feed people afterwards in terms over there. And so it's a great event. I'm happy. And again, I'd like to just thank Corporal Lopez and Sergeant Gomez for, doing all their hard work and getting the Tunnels to Tower run here.
Do we know if we're going to be able to link like the Fall Festival events and that with the Tunnel Towers, saying this?
They're all in coordination. So I know Gomez and is going to the Fall Festival meetings, and so this is all going to be together.
For people that do specifically the run, when they look up the run and go, hey, there's a run in Newman, can they see there's also a link for or something saying the Fall Festival is happening? There's all these.
That'll be interesting to see. I don't know. I'd have to talk to them about that and see if we can get that link or something going on. We'll definitely make mention of when they do arrive, give them an idea of where that's going to be so they can go there afterwards. So. Again, the Tunnels to Tower group is a great group, and like they've done a lot for our community. So it's great to have them here. Just want to welcome former council member Candia back. You know, he sat on this dais for a number of years and did a lot of good jobs. And I know he's always been a strong supporter of the Veterans Plaza Circle out here. And so for him to be here today on the day that it was actually presented is very good. So I know he's been a big push behind it. So it's good to have him and welcome him back. As I mentioned in my report, we did get state clearance for the LEAP. So $65,000 was authorized last week. We just, I guess, have to, execute a few documents, and then that money will go towards the housing element as well. And then Catherine and I are working with Stancog, probably have something to you at your next meeting. That'll start getting us some more money for that housing element. I want to thank you again for, allowing us to move forward with the phase 2 of the Plaza project. I think it's a tremendous community asset. I think when it gets built, it's really going to tie the highway corridor into our downtown, into our plaza. It's, it's time that we honor, the men and women that served in our armed services and that have, them that have given it all for our country. So it's a great project. We're continuing to go out and look for funding sources in terms of construction. I know the mayor has presented us with a grant opportunity, Clean California, I think it was what it was called. So we'll be working with our grant team trying to get that. We did submit a funding request to Congressman Dwart's federal office for the Veterans Circle. Hopefully we'll see that. Maybe the fruits of that will come forward here. As part of that, you also saw how we did the McBride building and the rehab of that. We have a meeting scheduled with CEO of Stanislaus County, Jody Hayes, trying to get that project incorporated into the Stanislaus 2030 plan, which is the economic development plan, and see if we can get some funding to do a technical assistance grant, to do some planning, early planning on that particular building. If you can get some of that, that lends itself to future dollars down the road. So we're excited about that. The Planning Commission meeting that was tentatively scheduled for this month has been canceled. So there will not be a Planning Commission meeting this month. And then that's all that I have. Mayor, I can answer any questions that council may have.
Any questions? Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Allie, welcome. Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome. Council members and mayor, apologies. Not too much to report today other than remembering that we are doing the vendor signups as we speak. If you have any food vendors for a downtown market, please send them my way or downtown to the Chamber of Commerce located at State Farm. They're also taking an application. So if you have any questions, know of anybody who's interested, shoot them my way and I can definitely take care of them for the community.
Good.
With that, I can answer any questions y'all may have.
Thank you.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
During the Fall Festival, have we engaged in terms of having competition with our youth?
Well, maybe a few years ago, we did have a basketball tournament that occurred. I think it was at our 125th time. I think we did have a tournament. For the youth, we engaged through a kids zone. So the recreation department is actually out there all 3 days or 2 days of the 3. We're out there actively in the hot summery days doing kids activities. Everything's completely free for the whole community, specifically for the children. As for sports, there is Keo who takes care of the volleyball side of sports. So she takes all of the library park and they have a tournament, all day tournament, process of elimination, the whole day on Saturday only.
I know that here in the city of Newman, and I think we honored it in terms of building a skate park. We have some very competitive young men and women that are skaters. And I was thinking, maybe if not this fall festival, but maybe in the future, that we may look in terms of having competition for those youth. Because they take that very serious, in terms of their game.
That could bring in a lot of other people too.
Outside.
Absolutely. I can definitely look into it and coordinate with other community members that can also assess us in the skateboard and in that field and bring that to town.
Because it's pretty big up in the Bay Area, and where they getting sponsors like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and these big names are sponsoring them. So I'm thinking that maybe.
And we do have, from me reading from my predecessor, we do have and have been funded by big names in the skateboard world.
Oh, okay.
So they definitely have helped our community out as well. And we can definitely reach out to many people and see if we can get that back for
Sounds good.
the fall festival.
Yeah, thanks, Allie.
You're welcome. With that, I can answer any other questions y'all may have.
Yeah, I think we're going to need 2 golf carts for this fall festival since we have a full deck here. Can't put 5 in one cart. That's not safe.
Keith, I might need your help there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Alan. Lieutenant Short, good evening.
Good evening. I have nothing to share on behalf of the police department tonight.
Any questions for Lieutenant?
No.
Guilty?
Yeah, is the chief out golfing?
No, he's not available tonight, so I'll fill in for him.
No Lieutenant. Catherine?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to update you all that we're going to have a very busy summer because now that this warm weather's here, we're seeing things drying out. We're going to let it go for a couple more weeks, but we're assessing conditions out for our news project, our wetland project, our wastewater treatment plant project, our Inyo 33 intersection improvement project. We're out to bid right now on our Canal School project, the surface improvement, so that's going to be exciting. So it'll be a very busy summer for projects, and I just asked the city for their patience and try to avoid those constructions areas, and we'll try to give as much notice as we can. And that's all I got.
I have a quick question. Oh, go ahead, John.
I was wondering, Catherine, I've been noticing our clock again, and it's not working like it should be anymore.
The plaza clock?
Yeah, the centerpiece of our town.
I will put a work order in and see what's up. Guts are hard to
you.
get. I think we replaced the guts, though. I'll check on it.
But they didn't even, 3 of them are only an hour wrong, and then
Oh,
the
that's
4th
not
one
bad.
is just,
You were just there at the wrong time.
ouch. Okay. Anyway, yeah,
I'll do a work order.
Thank you so much.
I could just see John standing in front of that clock. I have a quick question. Maybe this question should have been for City Manager Michael, is that this summer, we're going to have a hot summer, and there's been lots of water from the rain and the runoffs. That means that we're going to have lots of mosquitoes. How are we doing in terms of the spraying, Michael?
I can reach out to Mr. Heff and see if I can get an update from him, but Turlock Mosquito Abatement District handles all that. So I'll reach out to him and see if I can get an update.
And if I could just add to that, everyone in town needs to be checking for any kind of container that holds water. Make sure they're dumping them out. Make sure there's nothing on your property that holds water. That is a breeding ground. And then we let mosquito abatement try to take care of the big waterways. But check everything, and we've had a lot of water, so you could have a bucket out there or a bowl or something, a depressed area that holds water. So make sure you get all those areas dry.
Thank you. Chief Bowen?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. We had our firefighters Easter breakfast over the weekend. Had a good turnout. Served almost 500 breakfasts, so it was great. Easter Bunny was there. They did a silent auction, so it was a great event for the firefighters. And that money goes straight back to the volunteers, and they'll often help us subsidize the cost of gear and things like that. So thank you to everyone that came out and supported them. They were really appreciative. We also sent an engine out to Modesto today. There was a celebration of life for fire captain out there, had line of duty cancer. So they were out there for the majority of the day representing Newman. So, and I heard there was a smaller group of us, so they should have got some visibility out there. And then we had our Explorer meeting last week. We had a decent turnout. We're going to be doing the written exam this Thursday at the Crow's Landing station. So all those kids that were out there, they know to meet back at Crow's Landing this Thursday to do the written exam. And it's just to give them an example of what it's like to apply for a firefighter job. There's these different levels of examination they have to take, and this is the first step. So it's not really a pass-fail. It's just to give them the experience. Yeah. So I can answer any other questions anyone might have.
I hope your Explorer program grows. That's a great program.
And it is. It's a feeder program for our department, you guys. It's huge. Over the last 3 to 5 years, that's been the primary feeder for our volunteers. So
That's it. Any question?
thank you.
Pro Tem Ball?
I'm just looking forward to seeing Councilmember McDonald on a skateboard. Other than that, I don't have anything tonight.
Well, I have a little, what they call pigeon toe, and so I can't balance. But that would be great. I just want to just acknowledge once again, Nicholas, thank you so much for showing up. You know, you have been just an inspiration for this city. And if there ever was one of those bricks that be laid there, they should do for past city councilman. Your name should be in there. You've been tremendous for the city of Newman.
He's a veteran, too.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's all I have. Thank you, ma'am.
Well, River Road is open,
Yeah.
but the bridge is still closed. I checked it out today. It's the road's in good shape on River Road, but you still can't get over the bridge. Other than that, I hope everyone had a happy Easter. And turn it over. I'm done.
Councilman Tomlinson? All right. Well, I hope everybody had a good Easter. Again, thank you, Nick, for all your service. We greatly
Thank you, Nick.
appreciate it. Students, thank you for coming. Come again. I know it's not very exciting. You guys kind of fell into one of our longer meetings.
Yeah, you
Usually
guys got in trouble.
Usually these meetings don't go that long. I'm sure Nick doesn't miss the reading of these long resolutions at all. So with that, I'll ask for adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
We have first, second, man adjourned.